Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renee Novak at blessedbycards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I'm here today to share with you another Make It Monday tutorial. Today, I'm going to share with you a technique called shadow stamping, and I'm going to use this flower and this leaf from the Happy Hibiscus. This is an online exclusive, so you can hop on over to my blog at blessedbycards.com and search for that in the online store. So the technique itself is called shadow stamping, and this is the card that we're going to create today, or that I'm going to show you that I created, and I'm going to show you the shadow stamping on the leaves because it will be much easier and quicker. So you're going to need whatever card base you want, or if you're going to cut it out with the dies in the bundle, you'll need your card base that you want. And you want to use something like basic gray or smoky slate or anything that's not super, super dark. Or white, because white won't show the shadowing. Okay, and so I stamped 2 of these flowers directly on my card base, and this is a tent fold. And so then I did another one and I cropped it with the dies and the leaf dies and put it on top. So that's kind of how that goes. But let me show you the technique. So the first thing you're going to need is, and make sure you have something to clean your stamp with, because you're going to first start with a craft ink, a pigment ink, a white, and that's what's going to give you the shadow. So you want to sauce that up and then just stamp it straight down onto your cardstock. And I'll do 2 right here so that you can see the effects of it. So 2 I'm going to do. Okay, so after you've done that, you want to bring in something to clean off that stamp really well so that you don't get any of that craft ink onto your next pad. And I recommend just a baby wipe or some kind of a wipe. And then we're going to come in with a color, and I'm using Shaded Spruce. And you want to not stamp directly over it, but just slightly offset it a little bit so that you get a shadow effect. And it depends on how much shadow you want. If you don't want much shadow, then kind of put it directly over it and then just stamp it off a wee bit. And you get that shadowing effect around your stamp. I hope you can see that on the video. So that is how simple that is. It's a shadow stamping. And so I'm just going to go ahead and clean this one off. But I did do the shadow stamping with cherry cobbler. So I did the white first and then cherry cobbler. And then the leaves I did stamping directly on the cardstock. And then these were cut out in the exact same thing I just showed you with the white and the Shaded Spruce. So the Thinking of You, I stamped with the white, and I embossed with white powder to make it pop. I did put those up on Stampin' Dimensionals, and then I added a little white pearl bling. On the inside, I just stamped on regular white cardstock the cherry cobbler and the Shaded Spruce leaf and put it down in the corner for the inside. So that's our first card. The second card is not really shadow stamping, but if you didn't want to go to the trouble of 2-step stamping that shadowing on your stamp, I use the Elements of Text background stamps to create a little shadowing effect in the background. And then I just pop these up on Stampin' Dimensionals, and this is cherry cobbler and Shaded Spruce on white cardstock. And all of this is on basic gray. Both of my cards are tent fold cards. So I just first cut the paper in half at 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 5 1/2, and that gave me these 2 cards out of 1 sheet of paper. And so I just stamped in the white to give it a shadowing background. And then I did the same thing on this. I stamped in the craft white ink, embossed with white embossing powder, popped it up with Stampin' Dimensionals, and added a few pearls for some bling. I did not do anything on the inside of this card, but you would certainly be able to decorate however you want. So that is my Make It Monday today, shadowing stamping. And so I hope you give that technique a try and create something beautiful. So hop on over to my blog. I'll have a project sheet with all the information and all the supplies needed to create this project today. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to tune in next week for another Make It Monday tutorial. Until then, be blessed.